No intro screen, it's weird.
Yes, we just stand here and look at each other.
Yeah, that's the intro screen.
Yeah. Looks all rainbowy.
What was right?
When you put it up to the little camera eye, like the two digital devices make it look rainbowy.
Oh, yeah. Rainbows. So, how's it been going?
It's been going well. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Settling into this awkward phase.
Well, it's still fall. We got like another month.
I feel like we skipped fall.
Nah, dude, we really enjoyed it. If you think about it, we had the leaves changing color for about 2 weeks.
Was it that long?
Yeah.
I feel like it was just like
No, I really paid attention to that because I love watching them just like slowly fall.
Yeah.
And change colors. So like it was about 2 weeks of fall. I think what it is the temperature. So people view fall as like, oh,
but
we should
snow was here.
Well, that's okay.
I think last year snow didn't happen until like January or some shit.
Well, I don't know. I don't remember.
I went deer hunting this past weekend, and I haven't been deer hunting when it's been snowing for a very long time, and it was weird.
It's so quiet.
Yeah.
Like
Usually when I go deer hunting, because it's like the first weekend of November, usually when you go deer hunting, it's like warm. You wear a t-shirt, a hoodie, pants. As when I was a child, when I was a kid, like 11, you bundle up because it was freezing. But like for years past, since I can remember, it's been super warm. And then this year it was like actually pretty cold. Not like terribly cold, but it was still cold enough.
Yeah, well, it got down to 14.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cold.
Yeah. Well, me and my dad, we slept in on the first morning, and we didn't get out to the woods till like 11. And usually you try to get in the woods before the sun comes up so that you can become acclimated to the environment, so that you basically blend in so the deer don't know you're there or whatnot. But me and my dad, my whole family, we drink a lot before, like Friday night when we all get there, we drink a lot, we talk, we bullshit, we play poker, and then we wake up at like, 5:30, 6 o'clock, try to get out in the woods before the sun comes up. But my dad and I, we were the last ones in the woods. We didn't get there till like 11. But I shit you not, we get there, my other uncles and cousins are up eating lunch, and we're like, all right, we're going in. So we walk in, there's like no one there. And then I was in the woods for about an hour, and then my dad just said secrets.
I see that.
But then I was sitting in this field, and I was on my phone with Mercedes talking to her on the phone, and then literally I look over and I see a deer. I'm on the phone just like talking. I wasn't talking loud, but I by no means was quote unquote real hunting. And I saw a deer, shot it, and then proceeded to track it for 2.5 hours and couldn't find it. So that sucks. I didn't get it. But 3 years ago, when I shot my deer 3 years ago, I was on the phone at that time too.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and usually you're supposed to be like dead quiet, just be in the woods, and like it brings a whole new perspective to me though, because everyone's always like, you got to get out in the woods super early, and you got to sit there, and you got to be quiet, and this and that. I'm like, no, you don't. This is second proof that you can literally just stand in the forest. You don't have to be dead quiet, and you can see shit. So from here on out, when I go hunting, I will not be making myself uncomfortable.
Yeah. And when I grew up, there was tons of deer just wandering in the backyard.
Yeah.
So you could just like...
Well, with hunting, you always see deer in suburbia, in the city. You always see deer outside of where you go hunting. But then when you go hunting, they're rare. You never really see deer as much as you do in, your normal public life.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
There's got to be something to it. It's like
they're smarter in the woods, I think.
Yeah, maybe. It's like their trail that they've, brushed against, they can smell their scent.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. And if there's a lot of wind, then it blows your smell, so they'll smell it and be like, oh, I know someone's over there.
Yeah, or like there's tons of human smells in subdivisions, so
Yeah,
they're like they have no idea where it is.
right. And they know that they're not getting shot in the subdivisions, but they know they get shot in the woods if they smell that smell.
Do you think they know what a gun is though?
I think they know what the noise is, the sound maybe the smell too. If they're close and they can smell gunpowder.
Why don't people just go hunting with sniper rifles? I never got that.
Well, that's not. I mean, people go hunting with like long range rifles dialed in, 100, 200, 300 yards, which is pretty far. But
Yeah.
but when you're in the woods though, like you got to remember you can only see like a certain amount,
Because there's too many trees in the way.
Yeah, but if you're like in the woods and you're in a high up tree on a tree stand and you have, a vast landscape to see, then that would be beneficial. But I mean, you would be having to look with binoculars. It's hard to see 300 yards out or super far out and see something that's camouflaged already,
Yeah. What about grenades?
Well, that just wouldn't be fun.
You don't think that'd be fun?
Well, there's like an art to hunting. It's, it's all about literally the hunt, going out in the woods, sitting there, being quiet, waiting for deer to come by. You have to be a good shot because you want to, make a ethical kill shot where it goes through the heart and then it runs off for a little bit, then it falls and dies. You don't want to like cause the animal any, suffering or that sort of thing. So there is like an aesthetic to hunting. It's not, I mean, there are like super rich ass motherfuckers that go out there, pay like $2,000. They're on a guided, hunting tour where they literally get in a truck at whatever time in the morning. They drive them to a spot where they know the deer are coming. They put them in a nice air conditioned or heated like deer blind, and then they just sit there. They can drink beer, talk, eat, do whatever, and then deer walk by. And it's like that's, to me, that wouldn't be that fun unless it was like your own land. If you built your own deer blind, you created your own sort of system that a deer could sustain off of so that it comes. But I mean, there are people that they're more concerned with the like the putting it on their wall and that sort of thing, or the meat too.
It's like the trophy of it.
Yeah. Which I mean, personally, that's why I shot a doe. But I want the meat. I don't really care and I don't really have enough money to pay. It's like $300 to get it mounted. I already have one mounted. My dad, my brother, and I all have one mounted. So it's kind of like I'm just there. I'm literally there to shoot a deer, get enough meat for, me, my dad, my uncles, whoever else needs the meat, and then go back, take a nap, eat, and drink beer. And if I see a big ass buck, then I'll take the shot. But if I know I can get out easily, especially if I'm on my phone. I mean, I was on my phone eating beef jerky, just talking to Mercedes, and I was actually FaceTiming.
I was thinking like they're just walking up like, hey.
Yeah. Well, I think this one was just dumb. Oh, my dad says $600 to get a deer head mounted.
But I get like the whole thing taxidermied.
Well, that's a taxidermist is the one that mounts it.
Okay. I didn't know if like there were separate people.
No, well, you take like the body to a processing plant, so they'll cut it all up and turn it into sausage, whatever you want. But then the head, it's called a cape. They'll cut the head off, and then like the top of the fur, the skin, and then they'll send that to the taxidermist who will do the mounting.
That's cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of preparation that goes into it.
Taxidermy is such a weird thing.
What?
Taxidermy.
What, like just
like I have this thing. Let me taxidermy it.
Well, you're not well, I guess that is the technical. But yeah, because you're proud of it's a trophy.
Would they do anything? Like if I wanted any animal, they'll do it.
Dude, people get their cats and their dogs stuff nowadays. Like if you've had a dog forever and you don't want it to, you want to still see it not living, you can get it stuffed and they'll put that shit and then you'll just like have it in your house.
That's so weird.
I would not do that.
Have you ever seen Jackass where he's trying to get his grandma?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they don't do humans?
Yeah.
They do everything.
That would be weird. Do you think that when something dies, it wants to be stuffed?
I don't know. Like beyond humans, like a turtle or just whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know if they contemplate what even life is.
If you were a human would you want to be stuffed when you die?
No.
Do you think that that would forfeit your chance into the netherworlds?
No, because my physical body stayed here. It's not going to all of a sudden just magically appear somewhere else.
Yeah.
If anything, if you could taxidermy my consciousness, then I would say no. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's probably going somewhere.
I had a conversation with my cousin this past weekend, and he said that he doesn't think that there's anything after you die. He says that once you die, you're done.
That's exactly what I think.
Really?
Yeah, like I don't think that there's. I think from eternity to this moment when I was born, it's going to be exactly like when I die, and because everything that you operate in this world is through your senses and processed through your brain. So if you don't have any senses or brain to process things coming through your senses, there's nothing to do.
See, I don't know. Maybe it's I don't want to believe that.
I've always thought that, and I've been like perfectly fine with that. It's just for the rest of eternity. I wouldn't know any better.
So you think that Stan Lee is just he's gone?
100% gone. The only thing that is him, because what part of you is actually you, or are you just some of your parts? He's gone. Like his body physically exists, his atoms still exist, but whatever is him, the himness.
But what if him transferred into his atoms?
That's quite a possibility. I've always wondered if, because there's like certain people's atoms can get inside you by the food you eat, because your atoms break down, they go into water, they go into other food. So it's like I wonder if creativity is some part stored in atom.
Yeah. Well, you know what would be interesting is if like what you say, like our life force actually is in our atoms and stuff. So that when you die, like think about decomposition. So you're a carbon-based life form, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you go in the ground, if you're in people don't really, I guess people that go in caskets, this can't be possible for them, right? Because they're protected by the casket.
The casket will rot away.
Yeah. But I mean, well, I don't know though, because I mean,
it's not like instantly.
They've like exhumed bodies. Nowadays, they got a nice primer on there.
Yeah, it's some shellac on there. Yeah, but eventually, like we're talking about for the rest of the Earth being here, I'm pretty sure it'll break down at some point.
Yeah. But so when your body goes into, let's say that you don't go into a casket. Let's say that you're murdered by a hitman and he just buries your body naked into a wooded area.
So he took my clothes off first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So then you get buried 6 feet underground, and then your body starts to break down. So all the carbon, all the atoms are being absorbed into the earth. There's worms. There's other, creatures under there. And then the worm comes up, then the bird eats the worm, then the bird flies in the air, then the snake grabs the bird, and then the hawk grabs the bird, and your atoms slowly just travel back up to the food chain.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens because there's a part of your life force in this atom, so then, whatever one of these animals that bites your life force or somehow gives that atom, like takes a shit in a dude's eye,
Mm-hmm.
or takes a shit on a muffin before someone eats it, then that person eats that muffin with that shit on it, and it has your atoms in it. So is that how maybe people get blippets of past lives?
Well, I would have no idea. It'd be really crazy to think like you do eat a piece of food that has your atoms on it. And have you ever seen the movie Warm Bodies?
Is that
it was like a
vampire movie?
No, it was a zombie movie, but it wasn't like the traditional zombie movie where it's scary. Zombie was kind of like this outbreak, and they think that you're dead and you're just not really alive. I don't remember the
Is
guy's
it
name.
older?
It came out maybe like 10 years ago.
I think they're redoing it.
Oh, another Warm Bodies?
Yeah.
Well, the zombie kid, if you ever see X-Men, he plays Beast in the new X-Men movies. I don't remember the actor's name. What he does is like when they eat brains, the reason why the zombies in the movie eat brains is because you get flashes of somebody else's. Like
so that could happen.
Of, like,
couldn't that happen with the theory that if your atoms go off into somewhere?
I don't know, maybe. I always wondered that because how I always viewed life is if there was one small thing your mother and her father didn't do before you were conceived, you wouldn't be you. And when your mother was pregnant with you, if she didn't eat the food she ate and did the things that she did, you wouldn't be you. Because how I view you, and not like you specifically, but you as in like the royal you, is a giant puzzle piece that happened to configure these atoms in a specific way that made you like aware. Like if let's say your mom, for an example, she's driving down the road and instead of eating, a hamburger for lunch, she decided to eat a taco, you wouldn't be you. I know it sounds really strange.
No, that's true though, because like a baby's like basic born diet can be affected by the mom, what the mom's diet, or if the mom's drinking. Like with food, if the mom, this is going to sound very vulgar and mean, but if the mom's like a fucking fat ass hammering down Diet Cokes and fucking tacos all the time from Taco Bell and nasty cheeseburgers and a bunch of nasty shit, then the kid is going to come out a plumper, and he's going to get that craving for that shit too,
Yeah, and they kind of show that with, moms that do cocaine.
Yeah.
Like the kids come out like addicted to cocaine or heroin or just whatever it may possibly be, or alcohol.
Yeah.
So I think that your specific configurations of atoms, once they are gone, like once I die and I don't know what are the odds of these exact atoms to make me again. But that's why if I was ever going to be, I don't want to be burned alive, or burned dead, I should say, like cremation.
Yeah.
Because it's doing nothing with my energy source. Is put me into the most biodegradable casket ever and just bury me and just let everything.
Why not just throw you in a hole?
Well, I don't think you can legally do that, but I would definitely choose that.
You could do that. You can do whatever you want. It's your damn body.
I know, but I'd be dead. I would have no idea. The thing, you see,
if you have a kid, you say, "I want to be thrown in the ground."
Do you think they will allow that though? I know that Frank from It's Always Sunny wants to be thrown in the trash.
Yeah. When I'm dead, just throw me in the trash.
It's kind of, if you think about it, it's kind of exactly what we do.
Yeah.
Is we just have these plot lands that are just garbage dumps.
I just don't want someone to pay a bunch of money to. My children will be like, well, Dad's dead. We got to spend $50,000 for him to be. No, why would you waste your money?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Is
pay $50,000, pay an awesome band to have a concert in my stead.
Make it a party.
Yeah, and then burn me while it's going on.
I don't want to be burned.
Like they burned Darth Vader in Star Wars.
Oh, did you see that they made a Yuletide log?
No, what's that? I don't know what Yuletide is.
So the Yuletide log is like the log that they burn during Christmas, and they just show it on while you're opening your presents. It's just a fire crackling and burning.
Oh.
Well, on the end of that movie, somebody took it. It's on YouTube. It's 5 hours long of just on a loop repeat of him burning, so you can just have that up for Christmas.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yes, if you want to watch Darth Vader burn as your Yuletide log.
But no, but that's how it should be. A funeral pyre. I think it's Middle Eastern, and that's how they used to do it. What is that?
This one?
It's that weird fuzz thing again. Oh, well. But yeah, so what they used to do, and I think it's like the Middle East, it happened a lot of places, but they would have a funeral pyre where it's just they throw your fucking body up on a bunch of logs and stuff and burn you, and it's like they have a celebration. That's what they should do now. It's cheaper that way. All the people that attend win. They can get drunk, they can eat food, they can talk about your life.
Yeah.
You can have a band, but instead you pay all this money for this wooden box that you get to spend eternity in.
When I was a kid, I was completely serious. I would tell my mom and dad that if I died before they did, they would have to burn me and then drink me like chocolate milk or something. That's what my wish was.
That your parents just consumed you?
Yeah, they would. I would die. They'd burn me, take all my ashes, and then my family consume those ashes.
That's disgusting, dude.
I know. I was like a little kid saying, like, if I die before you guys, because I actually thought that how the world worked was like your parents don't die, you just die. Because I didn't think that. I thought I was the only one here that's actually gonna die. And I remember thinking too when I was a kid, talking to my mom and dad about. I thought they just existed. Like I didn't know that they were, a sperm and an egg cell that morphed into this thing what they are. I thought all life started when I was born. Like,
yeah,
instantly.
that would be okay thought. My uncle just put cremation is the only true separation from a spouse that will allow my life to move forward for the spouse. We were just talking about this. So I guess he's saying that your spouse who you're married to, they can't move on from your death unless you're burned.
Why?
Is it, Uncle Carrie, is it because your spirits or your body's still there and your spirit's still lurking?
What does burning you have to do with releasing your spirit?
I guess the fire burns your soul away.
Oh. That's okay. I don't have a significant other, so
Well,
I'll just
yet.
I don't know. I don't know what the future's gonna hold. But I'm talking about like if I die like right now, man.
Yeah, but you can't plan. You can't like worry about that.
I don't worry about like. Are you talking about worry about getting married or worry about
Worry
dying?
about dying.
Oh, I don't worry about dying at all.
Well, so
That's like the ultimate form of bliss.
well, yeah, but what if you? How can it be blissful because you're not there to experience it?
Exactly.
So how is it? See, that's why I don't think that there's just not. I don't think it's like
true enlightenment.
you die and it's like boop, you're gone.
See, I think there's gonna be a weird moment of you dead, and your brain just going fucking crazy.
And do you think maybe like you're dead, but like your brain stays alive for just a little bit, firing on like
15
electrons
minutes
and
or
shit, and that's why people sometimes say that when they have near-death experiences, as long as it's not over the 15 minutes, they can kind of remember stuff.
Yeah, it'll be weird stuff like that. Also, your body will tweak the fuck out. That's probably the creepiest thing. Is like,
Well, yeah, when I shot that deer should have died, but it ran around for freaking 2.5 hours living.
have you seen that video of the soccer player who like does a flip, breaks his neck, it gets up and starts like bouncing around doing weird stuff?
And did he die?
And people are like just looking at him. He was dead, but his body was going through the spasms.
Oh my
He was
gosh.
running
Well, yeah,
backwards.
animals do that shit.
Yeah,
Like
that's
squirrels, like if you nail a squirrel with a car and then it like flip-flops around.
Yeah, like it's dead, but you think that it's trying to fight, like it. But that shit is creepy.
Yeah. Well, I could get on board with the whole like people see and hear things and remember things from near death because of your brain staying alive for 15 minutes.
Well,
But how do you explain like ghosts or spirits or these reincarnation stories?
so I've been thinking about not really reincarnation, but the ghosts, because I've never been around a ghost, never experienced a ghost, so all my beliefs on ghosts is they don't exist. But we're also dealing with this world. There's this world that exists, and by the world I mean the entire universe. It exists, but how we perceive it is through the human senses. So there may be a sense that certain people have that certain people don't have that are more acclimated to finding ghosts and understanding that there might be, like, for me, I don't believe in them at all because I don't see them and there's zero evidence.
But you saying that these people have senses that can see these ghosts. What is it that they're seeing?
It could be like, I don't know, some sort of energy, some sort of wave function
That just looks like a person?
Well, I think here's the thing is like I think there's a thing in psychology or your brain or something, I don't remember exactly what it is, that if somebody tells you something, right? Rorschach tests are exactly this. If I tell you what this image is before you see it, like is this a face of a young woman or an old woman? And it's a drawing. If I tell you it's an old woman face, you'll instantly see that and you'll always think of that one first. I saw the old woman face first. That if you see a ghost, like it's some sort of energy thing, and you think it's a ghost, it could immediately take a shape of a human. If you think it might be some sort of weird tree, it could take a shape of a tree. It's just whatever context you're putting into it, because all your brain is like this prediction machine, so it's just trying to figure out what the fuck this thing is.
But what about like ghost experiences where shit moves around? Like the generic, I'm sitting in the kitchen and all the cabinets fly open.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Is that made up? Is that product of schizophrenic brains or like something wrong with someone's brain?
It could be. It could be all of it. It could be actually it's happening. It could be somebody's just imagining all these things.
What do you think could be like an environmental or universal reasoning from it?
See, that's the thing I don't get is why. What are they doing? You see, like, so you're a ghost and you've been tormented your entire life, so you're just gonna wreak havoc on opening cabinets? I don't get that.
I don't know if it's like that's what they're purposefully doing. I think it might be that their energy kind of does that. It's like a poltergeist or something.
Yeah, but what was it? Poltergeist is about like a demons or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get that either. What is the purpose of a demon, going into somebody that doesn't really matter?
Right.
You know, like if I get possessed by a demon, right? I don't really fucking matter. So why are they choosing me?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. I don't get that.
Well, if their spirit is cast to the place that you are, like if someone was murdered in this house and their body died here, so their soul is like trapped here,
Wouldn't you think that they're trying to help you then? There's no really good ghosts.
or they're trying to get out.
Yeah. But why are you confined to these arbitrary walls?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, what is that?
Maybe they're some sort of spiritual energy force field that prevents you from leaving.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be confined to a room then? Because is the front door open? Is that like if any doors are open, does that mean you can just freely roam?
Well, my stepmom told me one time that you should always have your bed pointing, not your bed should not be facing like your front door or like your sidewalk into your street, because spirits can come in and go straight up to your bed. So your bed should always be facing like perpendicular to the entrance to your house.
Oh.
For spirits or something. My uncle just said, I don't want to lay in wait for my wife to join me in death, all the whole not knowing if she's going to remarry and start a new life, and want to be buried next her new husband, and then I face eternity alone. So I guess that's why you burn yourself.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to sit there and lay and wait and wonder.
Yeah, but that means there'll be something eternity that you're going to that you're waiting for.
Yeah, why? Well, I don't think you're waiting for it. I think you're waiting to enter. You're in limbo, and you're waiting to enter whatever realm it is, but you want your loved one to be there.
Why can't it be like convoluted love?
What does that mean?
Just like really, kind of mucked up. Like it's like, okay, well, she loves him.
Well, I think
loved
if you
her.
spent your whole life together with someone, you don't want to. You're used to having them, so you don't really want to.
See, this is why I don't get into the afterlife stuff, is because it just seems so perfect. It's like I die. Okay, so I don't believe in God at all. So let's just say all 100% of my family members do believe in God. So they're just going to be up there or down there, wherever the location is of heaven, while I just burn. And they're going to be like, oh, okay, he was down there, so, okay.
Well,
but like all I
you
did
don't.
was
I don't think you'll necessarily go to hell.
Well, there's two. See, if I was in the face of the Christian God, and he or she, whatever it is in this modern day, tells me I've done good with my life and I can, maybe this is where ghost is I can either choose to go to hell or heaven because it's my choice. I wouldn't want either of those. What I would want is to watch time from a higher perspective of all of it. I want to see the beginnings. I want to know what is the beginning of the beginning of the beginning.
Well, what if you get that choice?
I would choose that one. And then like pure understanding, and just like stop time for a moment and just travel around the universe to see if there's other life. I want to see a supernova. I want to know what happened before the Big Bang and what happened before that happened. And what comes after that. I just want to know all that. If the universe is just a bubble universe,
Yeah.
that's the thing I would choose.
My cousin told me that he thinks the universe is just like a forever expanding and contracting thing. So
Yeah, they call it the Great Crunch.
yeah, the entropy. So like we're expanding right now, and then eventually we'll be sucked together, and then boom, it'll happen again, and we're just like keep doing that.
Yeah, there's a couple of theories of what will happen in the universe. It'll just keep expanding on forever, and then when all the stars die out to white dwarfs, and all the white dwarfs go out to black dwarfs, which would be like the great heat death, which is trillions to the trillionth power years from now, and then it just stays that way. But the thing is, like, so I get entropy, I get that, it goes from order to disorder. That's very loosely. It actually doesn't what it does. What entropy does is go to equilibrium. It tries to find
Always searching for equilibrium.
But there is no such thing.
As what, perfect equilibrium?
Yeah, so I think that the universe, even if the whole universe contracted back into a single point, or if it just kept expanding forever, things want to happen. That's why we're here.
Right.
Like the universe wants to create something. It doesn't like being still and stagnant.
Well,
because if you think about it, all of eternity happened before the Big Bang. Wasn't that equilibrium? Wasn't that perfect But why wasn't it happy? Why was it like, you know what? I think I'm just.
Well,
gonna
that's why the expansion and what's the other word?
contraction.
Contraction. That's why the expansion and contraction would be plausible, because if it reaches perfectness and then it comes back and it keeps just going like a wave.
Yeah, then I can think if that was the case, does it play out the exact same way? Like, are there new laws of physics that happen every time? And this one just happens
Well,
to be
maybe
this-
there's side effects. Maybe there's things that happen. Like, think about a wave of water. So like when a wave of water rushes into a wall, it's going to have a different effect than maybe the next wave behind it, depending on the the pressure or the amount of force that was, that pushed the wave into the wall. So maybe there's different laws of physics or different things that could happen. But
I remember my teacher in statistics class told me that you can never measure something to the precise measurement. We just take estimations. So like that is a foot.
yeah, you round off the decimal.
That always scares the shit out of me when that fucking stuff. And it doesn't happen until we start talking about ghosts, man. Have you noticed that? Somebody check back every single podcast and just as soon as we talk about ghosts, man, this shit happens. But you can just keep measuring and measuring and measuring down to like the Planck scale, which is like the smallest thing you can ever possibly imagine. But that's kind of how I feel about understanding the universe.
Well, yeah, you'll never fully understand it.
No, even if we could, like for the rest of, somehow humans go to a different planet and we just do whatever. And then, because eventually if humans keep on living and we travel around and somehow we found a new way to get out of our solar system to a different star, eventually that star is going to blow up and so on and so on. And then what would happen, we'd have to figure out our energy source. We need to keep finding fuel. So they have this theory that you take all the gravitational force of a black hole and harness that into energy. But eventually, all of the black holes will evaporate into nothing. So eventually, something's going to have to happen to the human race. We're completely gone.
Yeah.
Because eventually, like I said, when it's just a heat death and there's just nothing going on, there's no energy at all.
Right. Well, yeah, I think that the Earth is 2 billion years old, right?
4.5 billion years old.
And in that time, there's been it's been extinct like 3 or 4 times.
I think there's been 4 mass extinctions.
Yeah, 4 mass extinctions. So obviously it's going to happen again, but it regenerates. So that kind of.
Yeah, that's why I think that the universe wants to be this. The Earth, obviously, like I think, was it like 99.9% of every species that's ever lived on Earth has gone extinct?
Yeah.
But life is still going on. Like life wants to flourish. So I don't think it's just specifically to this planet. I think there's other planets, but what is the point? I was listening to Jimmy Kimmel today with Jeff Bridges, and he was talking about how it was tying into this. Something behavior. I forget what behavior he called it, but emergent behavior is why are humans destroying this planet? It's because he was giving the example of when there's these birds that fly, like why is there that pattern? Well, because they become a superorganism, and that's what the superorganism pattern's doing. There's no single bird leading that pattern, right?
Right.
That when our collectiveness is the entire Earth, that our emergent behavior is to fucking consume.
Right.
It's not really humans' behavior. It's just our emergent as a property.
Right.
That what is the emergent behavior of the entire universe? Like, what is the purpose of just creating all this? Because it wants to create something.
Right.
And I know the easy way out, and it is an easy way out, saying that God created all of it. Okay, then why? Who created God? And then so on. I'm not really interested in like that route because it kind of just neuters thought.
Right.
But that's why I would choose after I die, if there is an afterlife, to just watch all of eternity like a movie. Just watch it all.
Do you think that you just said that, what was it called that Jeff Bridges said?
The emergent behavior?
Yeah, so us as a human race is just to consume, right?
Mm-hmm.
To eat, to drink, to buy things and that sort of thing. So I get that, but do you think that also like we are violent at nature? Because I also think that innate human instinct is to like kill and be the only one and be like the better one. So do you think that there's like different mentalities to people that are that are like kind of tribally innate in all of us,
Yeah, I think that.
and if that, the killing, that sort of mentality is more prominent than, helping, nurturing, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think the helping and nurturing thing is kind of relatively new in the human behavior. I think mainly it's protect the group and then fight off anything, another human, animals, fight them off to protect this group. But I think the new is to protect every member of the group and try to be good in all of it. But we still have that, even if you say like, oh, well, that's what we do, we're really good. Not necessarily, because maybe we're good in a huge scale, but we're not good on the whole grand scale because we still want to fight other nations.
Right.
As soon as we can become that could be what we're trying to achieve, because it used to be like, let's just say, United States, this North American little piece of territory. They used to just fight constantly, and then, the Civil War happened, and the little factions are fighting, and now we're just kind of all together. Even though people will say, well, we're divided, I think we're still all together. For the most part, I don't think there's going to be a civil war happening in the United States, but then we just need to branch off. Like, I don't think we're going to fight with Mexico. I don't think we're going to fight with Canada. Okay, well, those ones are okay. And then we just keep slowly moving around until, there's just
peace on Earth.
Yeah, just basically.
With us and other people.
Yeah, you're still going to have these tiny little outbreaks of violence. But I mean, for the entire world not to go to war with each other over ideals or whatever, I think that's kind of where it's headed.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Well, I think that the kind of nurturing, helping mentality, that's a sign of more advanced evolution. Whereas if you think of back in, caveman days and primitive days, even if you think of, primitive animals, it's always protect, kill, kill any intruders or whatever, get my chick, get my family, I protect them, I war, I take, I war, I need to consume. And then, but that's obviously, it's still going on today because we're slow at evolution. But I think that, like what you were saying, the nurturing, the helping thing is more of an advanced evolution. You being able to see, oh, hey, I don't need to kill someone, or, we can all be here. Let's move towards a more, helpful role as a human, as opposed to try to kill everyone.
Yeah, I agree on that for sure. Especially because we're really good at suppressing things now. I don't like using the word suppressing because it means like you want to do something, but you'll still have those intrusive thoughts of, pushing somebody off of a ladder, or when let's say you have a knife in your hand, like what it would feel like to stab the person next to you, and you think, wow, that was pretty fucked up.
Right.
Well, that means because you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So I think that we still have these thoughts, and then I think some of them kind of just go, like, the whole idea is you're giving power to the thoughts. So some of them might be like, oh, yeah, I actually do need this gun to shoot people. But I think we're coming more, I don't know, to the whole idea of the peace. I know it sounds kind of like hippy dippy and stuff, but like I said, you'll always have people killing people, that it will never go away.
Right. Well, another big thing that I've been thinking about lately with like that is I think that you think that, and people think that we're moving in the right direction because they're not involved in social media, they're not involved in the news. Like every day I come home, I leave the TV on for my dog, and it's usually on like channel, one of the local channels, because that's where the TV shows that I watch at night are on. So they're just left over from the night before. But like when I come home, the TV's still on, and let my dog out, whatever. All I hear is like 14-year-old boy killed here, house fire right here. Someone thinks it's arson. Oh, murder here, police chase here, this and that, and it's just like bad thing after bad thing after bad thing after bad thing. So of course, and I know we've talked about this before, it's mean world syndrome. So like, of course, when that's all you hear and that's all you know, that's when you're going to be like, man, the world's really going on a shitter. But I'm going to do an experiment, probably maybe like around Christmas time or after Christmas time. I'm going to shut down my Facebook, shut down my social media, and not watch TV. And I'm just going to see how like I respond to it, and see how much, like, just like a little personal experiment to see, because right now I'm fearful. I feel fearful. There's like, I have this app on my phone now called Ring, where it's like people's doorbells, they're all, they have the cameras on their doorbells, and then it's like a community like thing where you can see what people post on their Ring, like, oh, person came and stole a package off my porch today, people, and it's only for like where you live, so you can see all the action around where you are. But like I look at that and like I've been usually. I mean, I know I lock my doors all the time, but I never really double check. But recently, I've been like double checking. I've been talking about getting a gun, this and that, and it's because I'm just being consumed by this, the shit in the outside world. And I think back to, you know, when I was a kid, like in the 90s, when our parents would let us run around outside. Like, I get it to a certain degree. There are more bad people out there now because they can get away with easier shit and they see stuff, and there's more, opportunity for them to kind of be, see something on the internet and want to go act it out. But I also think that a part of it is also because we see it more often. There's more methods to get the information, whereas back then it was only like the news. There was no Facebook and that sort of thing.
Yeah, like the newspaper.
Yeah, exactly. But I just want to see how it happens, because right now my view of the world is like, man, it seems pretty bad. There's all this, my connotation of the election and that sort of thing is like, man, there's like a lot of people being nasty, because all you hear is like the bad campaign ads and people bashing people on Facebook. But if you take a step back, put all that away, like, man, highest voter turnout in years, like that's a good thing. People are, and that's, the other side of the coin. People are, more, they're more likely to go out and vote because they have more information to take a stand on something. But back to the experiment, but I want to try it just to see how it like shapes my mentality, to see, it doesn't really affect your kind of view on the world.
I think it will to some
and
degree.
your natural everyday kind of, not being so pissy about things because subconsciously you looked at Facebook and some dude that you don't like is, in Bora Bora living it up, and you're, driving at 8:30 in the morning behind some idiot to work that you don't really want to, where you don't really want to be, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of like the false idea of their life, though, rather than, cause they're
Right.
just showing. I can take a picture of. I can just go online, take a picture, Instagram, like make an Instagram filter, and say, "Hey, this is where I'm at," and nobody would be any fucking idea, like
Right.
where I was. But yeah, I think it's just the things that you consume. Like all my stuff that I consume is basic. I don't really follow the news, because it is all just bad shit. But if they just did good stuff constantly, like, okay, well, this person died, 14-year-old kid, shot up school, this many people died. But then, like, they do news broadcasts about, like, a 14-year-old kid that saved a bus of whatever and then helped his program, his like, music program, something like that. They don't do that. They do, like, the thing that, like, actually irritates the shit out of me, because sometimes when I go home, my family will have news on and I'll watch it just with them for maybe, like, 5 minutes. But they'll have these news articles about one person doing something so great and they just hype it the fuck up.
Yeah.
And it's annoying. Like we did a good news broadcast.
Yeah.
It's like, you're missing the point. See, I think once the news stops being funded by advertising agencies, then it'll be more real.
Yeah.
Because you're actually getting viewers, but that's how they make their money to have the program on. But
right. Well, but a perfect example of someone, and I mean, this is an extreme comparison, but like, look at Alex Jones. Like, he had the opposite view on these things, and he had a big following and whatever, and they shut him down. The big news people on, and I get it. A lot of the stuff he says is offensive and that sort of thing, but it's just like proof that there is someone controlling what you're hearing and saying, because it's not 100% freedom of speech. The bar has been set that there is some sort of information or some sort of message where, you can't say that. You can't say that here. I'm going to, like Twitter, I'm going to restrict my platform for your message. So that's kind of like, a lot of it's happening. That's like the dawning of the restriction of free speech and that sort of thing.
Well, the whole idea with free speech is somebody owns Twitter, so whatever they want, they do. And they can stop you from saying certain things, which they did. Like, they really promoted stuff from Hillary during the campaign.
Yeah.
They really promoted and kind of like downgraded the Trump stuff. That's their program. So the whole idea of like the freedom of speech and press and all that is you create it. So if you want to print books and stuff like that, you want to create your own app to have these free speeches, that's perfectly fine. But if you're trying to do it on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or wherever, you're going through their sources. So like, if let's say for example somebody's going to use your program to completely talk about the KKK. You're like, well, I don't really want that because that's not what my program's about. So you just shut them down. But if they want to talk about the KKK, they should just make a KKK program.
Right. Well, that goes to that makes me wonder though. Okay, well, yeah, the person that owns Twitter, but someone owns Fox News, someone owns CBS.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're also cherry picking what they want to hear, and not, and they're picking kind of like a side to the story, I guess, or a certain thing.
It's all about, for those broadcasting companies, it's all about getting viewers. That's why I don't understand when people are like, oh, I don't know why Trump was elected. Well, what happened was Trump was running for president. He made a mockery of the whole thing, which boosted ratings on these TV programs. So they heavily did highlights of his stuff,
Right.
which got more viewers, which means when you have more ratings, you can add in more advertising agents or more ad space for higher price. So they started doing this, getting all this revenue in, and just really promoting Trump because they were collecting money. They created this monster, that type of thing. So what was going on is they were creating the content that actually made him. If they just shut it off immediately from day one, not advertise him, he wouldn't be president.
Yeah.
But that's exactly right. Is somebody owns, I think it's like Viacom owns the majority of these sources.
Yeah. Viacom.
They're going to put out content to best suit their clients' needs.
Right.
So if let's say, for an example, your client is Southwest and you're doing a news broadcast about how shitty Southwest planes are, they're not going to air it at all. They're like, no, not on this station, because
they're filtering the information.
So that's why I don't understand is when people are like, well, I'm listening to the news. No, you're not. You're listening to somebody's interpretation of what the news is because they're filtering it through this.
Right. If you want if you want a true picture of the whole story, you have to go get it from all the different angles.
Let's say, for an example, you and I both watch somebody rob a candy store, right? And they just take all the candy. And they interview both of us. And what we're going to do is, without even knowing it, we're going to kind of hype it up, Oh, I was trying to buy a Snickers or just whatever, and this guy comes in. And you're going to remember bits and pieces of information that actually weren't really there. Then they'll take yours, and then they'll take a video camera and kind of compile this fucking thing to like, this is actually what happened.
Oh, yeah.
But it's actually not at all what really happened.
That's pretty much the story to every story. Oh, gosh, I had a perfect example of this. Something happened recently in the news where, I don't know, someone was arrested for something, and they made it. Oh, Mercedes told me in the news, this dude, and this is just like kind of how the news can just like manipulate a message and manipulate people into like thinking this thing. This really bothered me, but I think it was somewhere in Kansas City. This dude that was like 60 or 50 or 60 or 70, I'm probably getting these facts wrong, but this is the gist of the story. He lived in this house for years and years and years and years and years. His parents lived in this house for years and years and years. I guess he might have been collecting disability or something, but anyways, he lived there, and he had a pet alligator that like lived in a jacuzzi in his house. And there's pictures of this dude and the alligator. He's like, this alligator's like a dog. They were like best friends, whatever. They slept together. It was like a normal alligator, right?
That's so weird.
Yeah. So I guess this guy didn't pay his taxes or some shit, so he was evicted from his house. And so that's a sad story. This guy that's been living there forever, usually, so this guy's evicted from his house, didn't do anything to anyone. He's got this pet alligator or whatever. If the news spins it as like, hey, we got to help this guy out, he's fallen down on some hard times, he's got this pet alligator and stuff, and they make like kind of like a symbol out of him, and then open up Kickstarter or something, motherfucker will have a brand new house if he wanted to, right? Mm-hmm. That's the power if they put it in the light. But that wasn't interesting to the news. The way the news spun it was, oh, we need to evict him. So then they spin it as, oh, the news is here. It was his landlord being a dick. Well, regardless, the news spun it as, oh, this guy here, we have an alligator. We're wrestling this alligator. This guy's getting evicted, and and like all the newscasters are laughing. Everyone's laughing at this someone's pet essentially flopping around in a terrarium built in a house, and then they go outside and this dude's sitting on the curb crying while all of his shit's being thrown in the yard, but they're making like fun of it, and it's just like that's a perfect example of how they can spin a tune which way they want you to be perceived.
Yeah.
But it's just like it was super sad to me. I'm like, dude, that like what if that's you and you're getting evicted, and your dog, they're wrestling your fucking dog up,
Or just like shoot your dog in the head.
Yeah, just stuff like that. And it's just how they perceive it, and especially the news in Kansas City is like it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. I think that when you watch the news, to some degree it's about, oh wow, like that happened to that guy, man. All right, let's move on with my life because it's, okay right now.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Right.
Yeah. But you're right. You can spin anything to make it seem like you've seen those videos of Miss Doubtfire. It's pretty funny. It's Miss Doubtfire edited to be a horror film, and it looks like it would be a horror film.
Yeah.
You can spin anything to make it seem like
right.
The thing that I think is funny is like when you watch these news broadcasts, like the guy, there's zero integrity now, but it's like the guy for the Weather Channel was acting like he was getting blown away.
Yeah.
Walking.
And there's two people in the background walking.
Yeah. And what they said is that he was on a grassy plain, like it doesn't.
Right.
They're gonna slip down like that.
Yeah. The news just
wear cleats.
Yeah.
If you knew you're gonna be there. But
the news just needs to. The people need to stop just trusting the news. It's because, and I think it's just because like they watch it, it builds into their things they already believe in, so it builds them up, and then something new comes along, and they're like, well, I believe them on this thing, so I'm going to believe them on that. But there's so many like things like that are perfect examples of how they'll spin anything and how they're not truthful, how they pick and choose from the stories and this and that, and it's just not the correct message. And I don't know how we got onto this topic, but.
Oh, I have no idea either. But I'll say a final thing too. My idea is that they're all fighting for your attention. Just like when you play a video game, like the sequel comes out, or the third one, the trilogy, they're fighting for your attention. They're fighting for your money. They want to waste your life, and that's how I view the news. That's how I view Facebook.
Yeah,
that's exactly what all this stuff is. It's like they're just wasting your time because they want to make money off of your time.
Yeah.
They found a way that eyes on a TV equals money for them.
Right.
And they're happy to make you fearful of the world. They're happy to make you go out and buy shit.
It sells.
Yeah, because like it's a win-win. It's like if you ever watch news, like listen to the sound effects. Those aren't really there. Like you've seen that like the Stranger Things, like cutting up cabbage. Or
yeah.
They're doing that stuff to the actual footage.
Right.
They're actually editing it. If you edit something super fast, if you let it go, let's say like 5 seconds, like if you edit, let's say you just spend an entire day watching waves crash and you're recording every wave crash, and you showed it for 8 seconds. Here comes the wave, and then it looks very tranquil and peaceful. But let's say you edit that thing to be 2 seconds. It's like crash, crash, crash. It looks violent.
Right.
That's what they're doing to these.
That's a good analogy.
These like news broadcasting, like these I don't know what they're called, like these articles, I guess. So they're just fighting for that, and then you'll notice after, if it's like home burglary, some guy got shot, within the next commercial break, you'll probably see like ADT, like because they're trying to promote, like, get it in your subconscious about like I need this sort of thing. So that's why I don't watch it. I actively decided to stop watching it.
Yeah.
The same thing like newspapers. They're just buying
propaganda.
Yeah, propaganda is so fun though.
Yeah. I was thinking earlier tonight we should do a little segment to finish things out. Something during the day that pissed you off, or something during the day that happened that happens a lot, but you notice at that moment that it pisses you off. And tonight you don't have to have one. I just noticed this when I was at the gas station. So like, how QuikTrip, they're like the auctioneers of like gas stations. The people are like, all right, come on, gotcha. How's it going, boss? Good. 4.45. All right, swipe it. Cool. Need any bag? Nope. Cool. You're out of here. They're just very quick. They got it down to a science. So when you're coming up on the, the cash out line, how it's like on the left there's a cashier, in the middle there's a cashier, then on the right there's a cashier. But that right one is for the overflow, and they never really have someone manning that register. That's only for like holiday season or like peak hours during the day. So it's usually those two guys like in the front. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone, normal fucking people, come up, they wait in one of the two lines or they form one single line. What really pisses me off is the flankers. The QuikTrip flankers, the people that come up, they're just completely fucking oblivious to these people in this line, and they stand on that overflow cashier. So then they fuck up the flow, and then one of the dudes one of the people working have to turn around, go to that one, and it's awkward because it's like, well, that flanker was over there. And now we don't know the order of this line. And then when someone else comes in to get their donuts and then they see that flanker pulling out, then they come back up and then they're in line, and it just fucks up the whole thing. And it's like, I was just sitting there tonight, and this woman was sitting in the flank line and like looking pissed off because there was like 6 people. I'm holding the fucking gigantic thing of water. Dude's eating a donut behind me. Dude's eating a hot dog behind him. There's like 6 people in this line that have clearly been there. And she rolls up after all 6 of us have been standing there. And it's just like, so now 1, 2, then he turns around and gets her. It's like, well, you just cut it, It's just like, you don't see this big fucking line. Like, why do you think that you're special, that you get, that's not the secret VIP line. There's no QuikTrip VIP card. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, no, there's a big fucking line. I just don't get it. I don't understand like the mentality of that. If you come into QuikTrip and it's the day before Thanksgiving and you're getting your fucking Mike's Hard Lemonade and your Cheetos or whatever you're getting, and notice that all the lines have people in them, it's like, okay, well then you pick a line. But when there's clearly 2 lines, a register that's not free, do you think any 6 people in that line would have went to that if they would have known it was open?
Probably. Like, if they knew it was open, they would have gone.
Yeah, exactly. But what happens when one person stands there, then it's the cause and effect thing. Then all these other people think. It's just, I don't know. It's just weird. And it's always QuikTrip.
I hate waiting in lines. Like, a grocery store is the worst. Like, when you're doing it at night and they shut down the cashier, the self-checkout one, there's 2 of them, and you're just like, fuck, all I have is 3 items, and everybody just has carts of shit that they need to buy.
I don't like waiting in line either, but I also don't like thinking that I'm above lines, and I don't like people that think they're above lines or think that, of course we all fucking hate to wait in lines, but it's a part of life. And unless you're, pregnant about to have a baby, you got a gunshot wound, or you got a pretty damn good reason other than you think that your need to be in front of someone else is there, then you just got to wait in line like the rest.
I will say that a lot of the time, because I don't buy stuff in bulk like that, at most I always have like 12 items. Surprisingly, people, no matter where I'm at, they'll just let me go ahead of them.
Really?
Constantly, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice people.
So I'll just stand there. I don't internally, I'm like, I don't really want to fucking wait here.
Right.
But I don't have that shown on my face. I'm just kind of like, oh, look at the magazines, just kind of like pick them apart.
Right.
And then somebody will be like, hey, you can go ahead of me. I'm like, oh, thanks a lot. And I always make sure I thank them when I'm going up. And then when I'm leaving, I thank them again. And the second thank is always surprising to them.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, oh, I'll go ahead. And then you're just scanning stuff. And then you go and then you just walk away. But when you turn back, I'm like, hey, thanks again. I really appreciate it. It kind of makes their day a little better,
Yeah.
I don't know if I have anything that aggravated. Well, I guess this is the thing that aggravates me is when I'm driving to an area that I have no idea how to navigate, and your GPS tells you where it's at, and it clearly is not there.
Oh, God, yeah. and you drive past it, and you're like...
And then, or you get to it, and then you look at your phone, and it's rerouting to like this weird...
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? That should... Because that was happening
You're
to me
not
today.
a smartphone.
So, yeah, you should be so up to date.
Yeah.
So what I do is I'll just pull by, I can pull aside. How do I get there? Tell me exactly what it's by. Because my sort of directions that I'm really receptive to is it's by the red house with that gray barn on the side.
Yeah.
I like those. I can't stand when somebody's like, okay, it's, 179th Street next to Ladue or something,
Yeah.
Please tell me something that's next to it because I'm probably not going to be able to
get
there.
Or it irritates me when people use, it's east of this, it's west of that, it's north of this.
Oh, yeah.
people stopped carrying compasses when Columbus discovered the United States. So stop using northeast, south, and west unless you're on a highway and you have a GPS with you.
My dad will give directions. Well, he's from like the military, so he'll give directions like, all right, so what you want to do is you want to go eastbound down, like.
When I worked
Or they tell you names of interstates.
Yeah.
I've lived by one for 30 years. Still don't know the name of it. Don't give me like I-72 or whatever.
People, when I first moved to Kansas City and was managing the restaurant, and people would come in and be like, "Oh, have you been here yet? Have you been there yet?" And in St. Louis, it's like, "Oh, it's in Soulard, or it's in West County, or it's by this or that." I'm like, "Okay, I get that." Like I can figure out where something is if they say a location.
Mm-hmm.
But when I moved out to Kansas City, they'd be, "Oh, it's just it's west of Metcalf." I'm like, "What? Do you have a compass? Like, what are you, a sailor? Why do you use west, east, south, north to refer to directions?
You're looking for the sun. Like, okay, is it what?
Yeah.
Time,
it's 3 clicks from the sun to the south northwest.
Start telling people directions like that. Like when they ask you, like, where
it's yeah. Oh, the donut shop. Yeah, it's 14 nautical miles. It's actually a fortnight's drive from your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like the north, east, south, and west thing. Like, knock it off. Just say it's. Oh, well, yeah, we're right here right now. So, yeah, you're going to go up to Hickory Road. You're going to make a left on Hickory. You're going to go about 2 miles. You'll see Junction Drive. You go right on Junction Drive. Not, oh, you're going to go east on Hickory. Then you're going to go north, southwest on Junction Drive. Like, I don't know what that means.
My dad, when I was younger, he loved drawing maps. Like, he just loved it.
Oh, gosh.
So whenever we would go, because we used to, like, go to different comic book shows and toy conventions, he would just go on the yellow pages and just look at the map and just like breathe it in, loving it.
God.
And then he, on a little piece of paper, he would find an area that because he worked all like in St. Louis, what he would do is find an area that he likes, or that he knows, and then start drawing like little lines here and there, like, okay, that's the street name, just to draw and like put like a star.
Oh, gosh.
He loved doing that. And so like when we're driving, I'm like 7, 8, 9, 10, he would be like, all right, we're getting close. Here you go. Tell me where it's at. Like, I don't know which way is up. Like, this weird little. The funny thing is, I wish I still had some of those because it'd be just. I should just start drawing them for my dad just as a joke. But yeah, he would always hand me. He's like, I don't know how to fucking navigate this thing. You drew.
I don't know
this.
where due north is.
Yeah.
And there's no stars in the sky. I can't tell where the North Star is.
He would always put east in the corner. So like I would know. He's like, well, after I like, okay, that's east. I'm like, okay, I get the east is going to be to the left.
Yeah.
But I'm not physically left right now. Like I don't know if we're aiming north or something. But yeah, I'm gonna start giving directions like the old days.
Yeah.
Like just hold the compass and like, all right, all right, what you want to do, and then just navigate like
3 clicks to the north. Then you're gonna take about 47 paces. Oh, you're driving. Okay. Well, you're gonna have to convert 47 paces into your car. So I don't know how. Anyways.
Yeah.
All right. Wrap it up.
Yeah, that was a good ending segment. I kind of liked that.
A little comedy.
Yeah.
All right. We will see everybody next time.
Before Thanksgiving,
the turkey gobble one. Have a good night.
Adios, mi amigos.
Adios, amigos.